Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Jefferson County Health Department Board of Trustees meeting. March 27th, 2025. It is roughly 3 p.m. I will call this meeting in order. Roll call, please, Ms. Pinkley.
Mr. Pig,
I am here.
Dr. Henry, Ms. Stidham. Here. Mr. Deal,
Here.
Ms. Taylor. Here.
Okay, we've established quorum. Ms. Stidham, would you please do the mission, vision, and purpose reading?
Sure. The mission is promote positive health outcomes through delivery of foundational public health services. Vision, a healthy Jefferson County. Purpose of the health center, RSMO 250.050. The Jefferson County Health Department is established, maintained, and operated for the improvement of health of all inhabitants of Jefferson County.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to have a moment of silence in memory of Marcy Stasiak. She was part of our team for 3 years and 7 months, so if we would please have a moment of silence. You know, we as a board will offer up prayers to her family in dealing with all these issues, and it's never an easy situation, as well as her own staff. So things always continue to move forward, and that's where we're at now. So next on is to approve the agenda as presented. Do I have a motion for that, please?
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Having a first and second, is there any discussion on the matter? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Welcome guests. I know we have one in the audience, Mr. Leader. Welcome. Next is the approval of the February 27, 2025 meeting minutes, regular meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Motion to approve the February 27th meeting.
I'll second that.
Having first and second, is there any discussion on the matter? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the approval of the February 2025 expenditures for $68,250.46. Do I have a motion for approval?
I make a motion to approve the February 2025 electronic payments.
Those are the expenditures.
I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry. I'll second that.
So we have a first and second on the approval of the expenditures for February 2025. Is there any discussion matter? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next on the agenda is the approval of the February 2025 electronic payments for $500,087.95. I have a motion, please.
Make a motion to approve the electronic payments for February.
I second that.
2025.
Having a first and second, is there any discussion on the matter? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is pre-approval of the April 2025 electronic payments for $651,647, no pennies. Do I have an approval, please? Motion.
I make a motion to approve the April 2025 electronic payments.
Thank you.
Second.
Having the first and second, is there any discussion on the matter? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next is the director's report. Mr. Sykes, you're up.
All right, thank you. First item I have on there is that we are down to one Mercedes vans. We did sell the other second van successfully. In fact, it should be trailered today and taken to Long Island, New York, I believe. Interesting fact on that, they are starting a program where to visit homebound Alzheimer's patients. They will have a neurologist actually with that program to visit, and then they hope to expand into patients who become aggressive if they go to a doctor's visit and try to visit those at home as well. So we'll keep an eye on that program. Sounds interesting now to see how they do.
I can understand that, yeah.
Yeah, so it is going to a very good cause, we feel.
Yeah.
A little update on the storms that we had recently that came through several counties and in our county as well. We had some facilities that we inspect that were involved. Majority of those are in the Arnold area. And I believe our environmental staff is probably still working on some of that. There is a report, an update report in the community services, a report that Gina put together of how many facilities. There was quite a few facilities in the Arnold area that were hit really hard. So our environmental staff worked very hard over that weekend and are still continuing to work with that. Now on the grants and contracts. So when I put this report together, nothing had really changed. And then we got a phone call or an email Monday, Tuesday. I had this all written out. And things have changed. Regarding the 3 items that I have on my report, nothing really has changed with those. And I neglected to add the cybersecurity grant to that. Those are still kind of in the same position. We have not heard anything from the FDA, retail grants, on that part. Still nothing on the Title 10. There's an article circulating. There's some, I guess you could call rumors right now that could be next on the list, but nothing has come to us in an official format that there'll be any kind of cuts there. The COSIP grant, we still have not moved forward on it just because we don't want to start expending and have outstanding expenditures and then they call back that grant. But on our email that we received, the State Department of Health and Senior Services was told by CDC that they are terminating 3 funding sources: the expanded laboratory capacities contract, we call it the ELC contract, the COVID-19 health disparities contract, and the adult immunization supplemental contract. Those we will no longer be able to submit receipts in those 3 categories going back to March 24th. That's our last day that we can recover any funding. And we have to have it all turned in by March 31st. The state has a very quick turnaround as well to the CDC. So they're asking us to get our information as quickly as possible on that. So luckily, the disparities grant, that will not affect us. We'd already spent that down. So we're okay on that one. The adult immunization, we had spent quite a bit down. We'll be leaving some money on the table there. The expanded laboratory capacity contract was set to end on June 30th of this year. So we had our budget set to knowing that was going to end. So luckily that's affecting us for 3 months, which is still a significant amount of funding. We met with the admin staff yesterday to kind of decide how we want to go about this, what we need to do. We feel like that we can cover the gaps that this is going to create with funding. I'll just put this out there. There's no need for staff layoffs or anything like that. We're not to that point. We'll be able to take funding from other areas and that we can reallocate. The 2 vans being sold, what a great time, cause that van was bought with some of this funding, so it'll actually be returned to the same funding source and cover some of those holes as well. So, Kristen's still working through the numbers, but I think we're good with the cuts on, it's just untimely, I guess, if they could have maybe said, hey, in 1 week, we're gonna cut you, or 2 weeks or whatever, instead of saying, hey, we cut you and it was 2 days ago or whatever. That makes it a little bit harder to work with. I believe the state, we had a meeting today with the Department of Health. The director was on herself talking about this. This is gonna affect the state probably more than it will locals. Well, it'll affect staffing quite a bit. They said there's probably 90-something employees that will be affected. Didn't say they will lose their jobs, but it's gonna affect 90-something employees on the Department of Health and Senior Services. And they have some other programs that will affect us as well, like the Show Me World Care software. That was their new updated program that, for CD, communicable disease and other information that we would enter. It's not completed and they don't know what's gonna happen with it now, because that was coming from this funding source. No money will have to go back to the feds. If we used it, if we spent it, we're okay. We don't have to send anything back. So I don't know what's to come. If they're gonna look, there are other contracts and grants that they could look at. We're hoping maybe this is enough, but we don't know what they're gonna do with the. Well,
Sorry,
you're right.
I want to turn my.
So that happened after I'd already sent out my report. So but I thought I wanted to give you, we already had talked to, I sent out a staff email. They know, they're aware of the issue. So we're trying to just keep everybody aware of that. Anybody have any questions on the grants or contracts? Okay. Jump to the next one. I believe we still need some of the boards some of the board members to complete the IT cybersecurity. Am I still correct on that?
Integrity awareness.
Yeah,
training.
that's a monthly.
Yeah, it is monthly. The last one released was 17.
Me? I don't know. I don't have the list.
I did it, remember?
The new
Well,
one?
it's each
Oh,
month,
is it a brand new one?
each month. you'll
Did it just
have
come out? Okay, I'll
As
get
of
on it.
March 17th, there was a new one and it'll go until April 17th.
There one after that too?
There will be, and for the foreseeable future.
Okay.
I'm like, I know I did it. Okay.
On the 20th, last Thursday, we had our staff professional development day over at the Civic Center. I think it went very well. We covered a lot of topics. We had our administrative updates. We discussed the new building and the moving plans. We had some outside presenters, Stop the Bleed, had a couple people from the state do cybersecurity updates and topics. Jefferson County Community Partnership and Family Resources was there. Melissa hit us with some HIPAA training that went over. No, that was great. And safety committee discussions. We had a pretty good day that day. Trying to think of any other training we had that was there. That was pretty much main topics, yeah. So that's a professional development day. We have those 4 of those through the year. Just bring the staff together and go over some, especially like the HIPAA, that's mandatory. That allows us to all have everybody in one room and get it done at one time. I just want to acknowledge our adult brain injury program, both regions that when we had both of those regions, they had their monitoring done from the state and there were no concerns, so they're both doing a very good job. So I just wanted to give them acknowledgement of a job well done. You will probably remember from last meeting that we're gonna drop one of the regions because it's more of the St. Louis area, and we had a person take a different job within the health department, left that open, and we've decided to let the state give that out to someone else as a contract. final thing I have, and we have it as a voting item, is the decision of our dedication plaque. So we can hold off on that. I will let you know that the architect firm lending, the bank and the contractor both said that they would help pay for the plaque, since we're gonna put their names on there, so I thought that was really nice of them. And that's my report. Do you have any questions?
Thank you very much, Steve. Thank you. It was good. Some interesting news. But it was
Yeah.
good overall. Thank you. Next is public comments. I don't know if there's anybody to speak. All right. Moving on to the next agenda. We're gonna talk about any new building updates. I know we didn't have a meeting today, so
Didn't have a meeting, and I think we're gonna do the tour today. Looks like the rain's gonna hold off, hopefully.
I know we've done a lot of concrete work over there. A lot
Yeah,
of Curving.
yeah, basically they're waiting to bring in the rock for the base for the parking lot, and once that's put in, then they'll do the asphalt around the place. But yeah, most of the concrete work's done. They're just kind of doing some light work inside. There's a little bit of flooring left to do. They ran out of the material, so they're waiting on that. Yeah, it's very, very close to being completed. It's really gonna be more on our end now, like the IT infrastructure. The builder wanted us to wait a little bit until they are done with inside, so we're not running into each other. Once that's done, the IT, our company can come in and start doing a lot of the IT infrastructure. The furniture is probably our biggest hiccup right now, for lack of a better term. I have better terms I won't use. We expect a lot of the furniture right now, a delivery date in mid-April, which is much better than what I thought it was gonna be. But there are a few company or a few types of furniture that may, what they say, it would be later. Actually, they don't have a date, so we don't know when those will be delivered and what they are. I've asked them to give me what furniture that is. But right now, the plan is for the furniture to be set up in mid-May. So we wouldn't be in the building before mid-May, which I didn't expect anyway. So if it goes the way like that, I would say we're looking at June maybe, where we're completely the 1st of June, somewhere in there. But I don't wanna cut us too tight until we see what the furniture is gonna, when it will arrive. The completion, as far as the builder, they're still April 16th. And that means that's when we will go through with the architect and do a punch list. And if we see things need to be corrected, they'll have a week or 2 weeks, whatever it is, to fix those items after the punch list. That's April 16th, depending on weather, and when you're pouring the asphalt, not just rain, but if we have some cold days, which we could have, they can't lay the asphalt. Plant may not even open if it's too cold, so. Other than that, I think there's an updated, the new building construction payments, that's updated in there as well, so. It looks like you're gonna, I think you'll be very happy when we go over today and look at it. It's really nice.
Questions? We good? All right. Thank you again, Steve. So, new business, you're gonna be up again, I guess, Mr. Sykes, is the open consideration of act on executive director's recommendation on auditor bids.
All right, well, we received one bid. And I believe it's Bink, Hagemeyer and Williamson submitted a bid. Yeah.
What was it for, the sign?
Auditor services.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's,
He acts like I study him all the time.
been a rough week.
They wanted to make sure.
Double scared. Double secret.
So we'll find. If it's not obvious, I may have Kristen come help me review this. Price for auditing services, 1 year. 15,000 financial statements audit, 5,000 federal single audit, 1,500 per program. If additional major federal programs are required for a single audit. You wanna, that sound, you wanna look at this, to help? Make sure I'm looking at that correctly, or is that sound
Well,
right?
that sounds right, yeah.
Yeah, it's. Yeah, here's the proposed fee schedule on here. Our proposed fees are based on performing the JCHD audit in previous fiscal years and our estimates of the hours needed to complete the engagement. Our fee proposal is as follows. 15,000 for the audit, including travel, report production, other costs. Federal single audit, 5,000 single audit per federal program. If applicable, is 1,500 per program. Audit of 2025 financial statements, 16,000. 2025 federal programs, 5,000, and additional 1,500 for the 2025. So this is, what did they say, single year here? Okay, so this is for 24, 25, and 26.
It's for the options.
Yeah, so it would go up. 2024 would be 15,000, 2025 go up 1,000 to 16,000, 2026 would be 17,000. All of the parts of that would stay at the same. If we chose to do
Steve, just to be clear, so 15,000 is for all of those items, or is that just, are those all in addition to that?
I read that as an addition.
Would you come up and help guide us a little bit, please?
Kristen, we need you.
That'd be helpful.
So the 15,000 would be for the single audit, which is over the financial statements and the compliance that we follow. The additional 1,500 per program would be like if they selected, when you hit a certain threshold, they have to select some programs to also audit. Usually they do two, usually Title 10 is one of them, but they do those audits. And then what was the other one?
Single program, federal program.
Oh, okay, yeah, the single audit. I mean,
That's in addition to the,
it's just breaking it out, but yeah, that's what we normally get is this. Because we have lots of federal funding now. We have to have the single audit, which we didn't have 4 years ago. But all these years now we do it, so that's what that's about.
So those, and again, I'm sorry, so those are in addition to the 15?
Yes, so it'll be like, it'll probably be 23 is what it'll probably end up being first year.
And so for the future years, the only increase is on the
Yeah, on
single
the-
audit?
On the financial statement audit, yep,
1,000 each year.
yeah.
Okay,
And those are options which we'd have to actually opt into, correct?
No, we have to, oh, the other two, yes, yeah, that's if we would like to.
No, I mean, we
continue.
have to have an option. I understand
Yeah.
that.
I thought you were talking about those other little pieces. I'm like, oh, no,
No.
we don't have a choice.
Proposal for audit of 2024 financial statements with 2025 and 2026 options.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what that is.
Alright.
Thank you.
so is this the same one we've used
Yes,
and we put the bid out?
In the leader and in the post dispatch.
yep, and the same was Post Dispatch for 2 weeks, each of them.
And it was on our website.
how's it compare to last year?
We didn't go out to bid last year. We just do it
I
every
mean-
3 years.
Money wise?
Oh, money wise, it's on par. I think it's 1,000 more than last year. So if they're just doing 1,000, yeah, I think consistent.
Questions? You? No, any questions?
Good.
Thank you.
Ms. Coleman, is there any issues with it only being a single bid?
No.
Alright. Question answered for that. Does anybody like to make a motion to accept the bid from? Please say their names again.
Big, Egemeyer and Williamson.
Big Agri.
Inc.
And they're local too, aren't they?
I'm sorry.
They are local, I believe, aren't they?
Yes, they're in.
Where are they from?
Read it. They're
There's a
in,
couple of locations.
they're, yeah, this says St. Louis.
I'm okay with them being out of St. Louis.
And Columbia, Illinois, so they're,
That's local.
I'm fine with that on there. Does anybody want to make a motion?
To accept the bid, for this year, well, 24 on it.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Hey, having a first and second, is there any other discussion on the matter? Not hearing any, roll call, please.
Mr. Pig,
Yes,
Ms. Stidham,
Yes.
Mr. Deal,
Yes.
Ms. Taylor.
Yes.
motion carries. All right. Next, so you can get that audit started. So next on the agenda is approval of the dedication plaque design. Everybody, I think, has their, a copy of it.
We can pull it up too if you want to see it, screen. And the company that we're having, look at this, we've got a couple bids, but the sign company has been doing this for us. I don't think they're gonna give us too many more changes until we're ready to do something, but, so, I know Christie had a suggestion and to consider, didn't want the members' titles on it. We put all your titles, didn't know if we wanted to
Yeah, you
keep
guys,
that
You guys
or.
discussed that last month, that you didn't want titles for the.
I'm good either way. It's up to the group. I don't,
I mean, it's not gonna change the layout, cause it's going across, so I mean, but it's whatever you all want. And also, rather than administrative staff, consider health center administration. Instead of administrators for all of us employees. A couple suggestions that Christie had.
Well, it says health center, at the top.
yeah,
Um, I don't have a problem with that either way, but
Leanne likes the Oxford comma behind it.
I do like the Oxford comma behind
Present.
present. Former English teacher. So. So little things, right?
Thank you.
The dates could be the tough one, cause I
Right.
just.
Oh, yeah, we don't know.
I don't know if it really matters, but
we gotta get it kind of close.
Right.
A May, you know,
I got
a
it.
month.
May through June.
I don't know if I do an exact date on it.
So,
All right, so does anybody wanna make any changes? Anybody think any changes need to be made?
are there any pros and cons to having the, job description or classes on there?
No, I just remember that in my notes from last meeting, we talked
Yeah.
about it, having just saved just the names.
Doesn't make any difference. Again, the reason I'm bringing this forward, because I didn't want Steve to bear the brunt of anything that it's gonna fall upon us. If somebody wants to complain, whine and cry, they can come to us. Because we are the final approval on this, so. I
We're gonna leave
think
me-
it was proper for Steve, I'm sorry, I think it was proper for Steve to take the, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry.
We're gonna leave me at the top anyway. So-
Well, that's,
Then
that could be changed. I mean, I don't know. I think we're probably pretty,
I'll talk to Steve Crawford's been work, well, he's here. See how how quickly they can put this together.
How long it takes
Yeah,
to change
if they
that?
can hold off on the date, we should know more in April of our date, I hope. And, cause it's gonna be between May and June, my thoughts are, so that could be critical there. So we'll work that out.
I'll reach out to them and figure out what kind of time frame they need. I'm sure they can produce it pretty quickly. It's just,
I guess you actually do put the month, I mean, is that, or can we put the year?
they'll just put the year.
I would put the month of the year,
Month and year.
the day and where that's gonna be true. The day. You have a suggestion or?
Just move the comma between May and 2025 down to present comma in the future.
Pardon me now?
Take
We need a comment?
the comma after, off.
After, unless if you're gonna, unless you're gonna put the date at the top, you don't have a comma after.
And put that comment after present.
Yes.
What about the comma after Hillsborough?
That's, let's leave it at.
Yeah, the comment you'll say.
Yes.
That's not the way I was taught.
That's not the way people.
That's not the way I was taught.
Well, we'll let the English people deal with that. The new English versus the old English could be a good fight too.
And the board, you're good with leaving titles after your name?
Amber, but she's not here. I don't know if she was the one that wasn't sure if we needed them or not.
I just wanted to ask the question. So,
I think the one design I had, I only had you because of space. I had yours. And you were saying, well,
it's either.
All or
none.
Yeah.
If we like the way it sets, then except for, I mean, the date stuff is a little. grammatical.
what about the administrative staff? Do we want to change that to?
I don't think so. I think that's fine.
Does Amber went back to our front of her name?
Oh, yeah.
Probably should be. Double check that.
That's when they're middle initial.
You can take out Brown if it's the B. That saves some space.
Well, it's how you want it. I mean,
Yeah, however you.
Because that's not
You get
gonna
your name.
save,
Just like I say, there you go.
yeah. So if you want your name written out like that, just whatever you want,
And do you want it hyphenated?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
It's legal.
I just want to get you, just asking. Because it's painted tail to change it once it's made.
I know.
It's like,
see,
bring my Dremel to and some paint will soon.
change it to just
You
the
can leave it. You can-
fully spelled out, okay.
That might save some space. It could be.
And we'll go through it again and make sure we spelled everything correctly. I want the three businesses to look at it as well.
So other than grammatical errors and small changes, do I have a motion to accept the plaque as presented?
I make a motion that we accept the plaque as presented.
Second.
Okay.
Having a first and second, is there any further discussion on the matter? Not hearing any, all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So you're out of the barrel, Steve.
Thank you.
So, do we have any topics on anybody's mind for entertain topics for the next agenda by the trustees?
I have a question about, the measles reporting in this. Agenda. I didn't know, Melissa, if, family that lost a 6-year-old, does anyone watch that interview with the parents? Anybody seen that? Have
I'm
you
not
watched
sure which one you're referring to.
the 6-year-old that died in Texas from the measles?
Oh, yeah.
Did anybody see that interview with him?
I've seen a couple of these reports, but I don't know
Not, okay.
that interview.
So I have. And this family, they were a Mennonite family. They had 5 children. None of them were vaccinated. All of them got measles, even the mother. And the 6-year-old had measles. She was at the tail end of it. She just had a little bit of a rash left. She'd gone to the doctor, I think, started symptoms on Saturday. On Monday, they went to the doctor. They gave her some cough medicine. She had a little bit of cough and a fever. They told her to take Tylenol. And this is to the Children's Health Defense. And the family has released the medical records to them and they've gone through them. She did not die of measles. She had a bacterial pulmonary infection that they failed to treat with the right antibiotics, and that's why she died. So this concerns me that this in our agenda in this bold type, it says she was not vaccinated, no underlying conditions. She did have underlying conditions and it's well documented. I'm sure there will be a massive lawsuit because it's really malpractice on the hospital because they didn't treat with the broad antibiotics. She came in with a cough and having respiratory symptoms. They didn't treat her with broad antibiotics.
So
And